name is NKOLI Ogechuku Loveling Emenari OMHOUDU. While Emenari is my maiden name, OMHOUDU is my husband's name. Okay. But my fans call me Princess.
Princess.
Yes. Princess.
That's interesting. You want to say why your fans have chosen to call you Princess?
Okay. In my church, when we're having wedding ceremonies, there's usually a question that is put forward by the officiating minister, and that's after the wedding. You're going to tell the public what you want to start calling your wife from that day, and then the wife says what she wants to start calling the husband. So it was on the wedding day, exactly March 27th, 2005, that my husband told the world that he chooses to call me Princess. And because it was made public, it kind of took away my name. So anyone that knows me or knows about that marriage calls me Princess, and of course he calls me Princess everywhere and anywhere. So some people now believe probably it's my name. Yeah. So I also now attach it to my name just.
Okay.
Because that's the way
it
is.
That's terrific. Now, okay, first, before we even, before I ask you the next question, we know you're a Nigerian, but which part of the country are you from actually?
Okay, I'm from Nobi in Anambra State. That's where I hail from. Okay. My parents are also from there. Nobi is just a little town in Anambra State, south, Idemili South, local government area of Anambra State. But by marriage, I got married to an Edo man from Ogochi Ekberi in Isako Central local government area of Edo State.
Okay, yeah, I know at this point, Africans, hardly would want to talk about their age, but maybe we can have a safe margin of asking you, are you in your 20s, your 30s, 40s, 50s?
I'm in my 40s.
Okay, that's wonderful. You've already established a family picture in a way, but let's get deeper, into that by asking you about, you are married. What about the children?
Okay, I'm married. God blessed us with 4 children. 2 boys and 2 girls.
Okay, that's great. Now, you're a media personality actually, and we've seen you do 1 or 2 things within that area. We want to find out which program or media program actually was the first, to anchor.
To anchor. Yeah. A program. Okay, so I started with newscasting. Then.
And what year was that?
That was That was before 2006. Thereabout. That was around 2006 to 07. 2006 2007.
Okay.
Then. I was now drafted to Kakaki, the African Voice. Okay. That was in 2007 as well.
Okay.
So that was my very first on-air appearance before I now started my program, Environment Today, which I also produce and anchor.
Okay. Now, your first experience, what was it like really?
Okay, so let me tell you something that happened. Before the news proper, before I started casting news, I anchored 1 program, and that's why I kind of forgot about it, because I anchored that program once and for all.
Okay.
So that day, it was a breakfast show on AIT, a Saturday breakfast show. So when I was asked to present it, there was a presenter then. There were 2 presenters to the program. So one of them, I don't know what happened at that time. So they were left with one presenter. And the producer just looked at me and said, I know you can do it. Come on the show. That was the first time. But to my utmost surprise, we were on the show. The show had barely started, just about, it's a 1-hour program, but just within the 20th minutes of the program, there were calls from everywhere. End the program, end the program, end the program. Oh my God, I was so scared. I was wondering, did I say anything wrong? But we were two, and there was no reason why we were asked to end the show. Then I was asking, I was lost. What happened? Did I say anything wrong? Did I speak bad English? Did I say what I'm not supposed to say? Till now, nobody has told me what happened, why we were asked to end that program. But the feelers I got was that the powers that be at the time told the producer to end the program because they didn't know how he came about me becoming the presenter of the program. That was my offense. How did you get on the show? Who are you? Where are you coming from? Okay? So, me coming from nowhere, no recommendation from anybody, and the producer, to many at the time, didn't have the how will I put it? Didn't have the permission, so to speak, to just pick anybody and put on air. So they select who will present your program and they give you for the person to start presenting your program. So the problem is, why would you and who are you? Where did you come from? How did you get on the show? So that was how we ended the show. So at the time, the producer now asked me to go and talk to the other guys. I said, talk to them for what? Nobody has told me what I did wrong, really. So I'm not gonna talk to anybody and I'm not gonna go on the show again. That was the first and the last. But you know what he did? With all the hula baloo about end the show, how did you come in? I think it was the first time they knew that I could actually do it. So that broke a jinx, that you didn't know anybody, but you can still get on the show. And subsequently, they were now the same people that said, why did you get on the show, were the one that called me and said, okay, you can now do news. And from you can do news, they drafted me to Kakaki, the flagship show of the station, So what it showed me is that maybe it was God that just used that to break that jinx, to tell them that, okay, you don't really need to know one organ somewhere to be able to do what you're good at doing. So that's how I got here.
That's wonderful. Okay, now, we know some people are diving into some responsibilities, okay, and not really what they would have loved to do, but they just find themselves in it. Would you say you have a passion for what you do as a media personality?
I do not just have a passion. I think mine goes beyond just passion. I think it's a job cut out for me by God. Let me put it that way. And I'm saying this because at the time I got to the age of going to a higher institution, and I told my parents, my mom is not educated like that, even though she can read and write in her native language. But she doesn't understand which course is which and what the person that reads which course does. So when I got to the age of going to school and I said I was reading mass communication, and they were asking me, what was that? What for? And when you finish, what are you going to be doing with that? And I said, okay, it's those that, write. That's the barest way I could explain it, a layman's way, that, okay, those who write on newspapers and those who talk on television, and I would want to major in broadcasting. My mom now said, hey, you want to major in... So you really meant what you said? And I was taken aback. I said, what do you mean I meant what I said? She said there's something I said when I was much younger, at 5 years old, which I didn't know about until she broke that news. That each time, then it used to be NTA and, just, I don't know, I don't even think there's any private station at the time. She said, when I see people talk on television, I'll just go behind the TV set and I'm wondering how these people got into that tube and they are talking to us. Then I'll just stand and be staring at the people as if I'm listening. I understand what they were saying. But after some time, I would turn around and tell her that, Mom, you know what? One day I'll enter inside this television and be talking to you. She now said, okay, now I'll tell them to open the bar for you so that you can enter, okay? And she said each time she says it, that she will tell them to open it, then she will see that gleam in me, that kind of joy that, they are going to open this thing, I will enter the way other people have entered. And at the time, I didn't know what I was saying, and I don't know how it happens really as a child, But that showed me that it was something that maybe a desire from childhood that, okay, this is what I want to do. And then I saw myself doing that line unknowingly to me that, that passion has been there. And then, but since I got into it's a job I derive pleasure in doing, and that's why I try to train myself to and upgrade myself to not just presenting programs. I also delved into production to see how it happens, just every bit of what happens in the media house. I tried my hand on editing programs, on camera handling. And then I was lucky enough at the time I joined AIT. It was a time that training was kind of one of the things that they must do before they put you on air. So I benefited from the early days of training. I was first sent to FRC and training school for basic presentation, radio presentation techniques, which we did. And to the glory of God, out of my set at the time, my result was top notch. And the company didn't have a choice but to give me a commendation letter for that. Then after that, the next year, that was in 2003. Then 2004, I was sent to NTA College in Jos, for yet another training and upgrade. Is basic training to basic television presentation. And then after that, I started trying my hands on other trainings I could, do. I have attended several trainings just to develop myself, self-development. And then eventually I just stumbled on one Commonwealth, broadcast fellowship, training fellowship, and I applied. And funny enough, it was the year I had my first baby after marriage. And my baby was just 2 months old, when after we did the application, and I was surprised that I was chosen for that training. It was a 3-month training in the UK for advanced international broadcasts, So I was forced to leave my baby at 2 months old because there was nothing I could do. This is a training I applied for, something I wanted so badly, and here is the baby, that was not factored in when I was doing the application, so I couldn't carry the baby out. I remember then my mother-in-law asking me, so wouldn't they defer the training? And funny enough, my husband has been very supportive. My husband just took my baby, 2 months old, gave the mother. I said, Mommy, hold this baby for my wife, she's going for training. My mother-in-law said, did she not tell them that she just had a baby and it's the first child? She said, well, it doesn't matter, these opportunities don't come all the time, so she has to take it. And that was how I left my baby. It was a very hard decision for me to make at the time. You know how it is with a mother with a first child, I must tell you, I cried on the aircraft till I got to the UK. And I remember one man coming close to me and asking me, Madam, since you entered this aircraft, you've been crying. What's the matter with you? Are you okay? I said, you will not understand. That was just my response. Don't worry, I'm fine. You will not understand. But what I did was I took a couple of pictures of my baby, and every day I kept talking to the baby. You know why? I'm here, not because I'm a wicked mother. I'm here because I just feel like it's going to impact positively on you at the end of the day. So let me develop myself so I can get better job, get better pay, better position, so that I can give you the best, of the training you could get. So it was a very hard one, but it paid off, So it was when I came back from the training and the management saw the changes, that I think maybe in their wisdom, then I felt, okay, it's time for you to go on the show, morning breakfast show on AIT. That was how it started.
Okay, and it's been good. All right. Aside having to anchor, programs, on air, do you master events? What do you call them? Master of Ceremony MC.
Yes, that's
So,
one of my
talk about that.
that's one of my passion as well. Our job is public speaking. And so in all the modules of mass communication, you have public speaking as one of the modules in the course I did. So, and I found myself, getting jobs for MCs compare of an event, and it's been marvelous because when you do something and you get feedback, that shows whether you are on the right path or not. Just recently, it's about 1 week ago, I also had a compare for an institute in their conference, and it was marvelous. So it's something I like doing. I feel it just comes natural with me, to talk and hold the audience for a long time.
Okay, yeah, in line of business in your career, actually, you've picked up a couple of awards. Okay, so you want to talk about these awards?
Awards, okay. So, first I got, it was a competition, that was in 2012. It was called the NUJ Award, Ladi Lawa NUJ Award. Different categories. I applied for Environmental Journalist of the Year, Environmental Reporter of the Year, and to the glory of God, I got that award, NUJ Award, Environment Journalist of the Year, Environment Reporter of the Year, 2012. Then after that, in 2016, I applied for DAME Award, Diamond Award for Media Excellence. I was one of the 3 people selected for the finalists. Unfortunately, I didn't get the winning, I wasn't the winner, but I was the first runner-up, and I got a certificate for that. And that category was a TV documentary. So that was what I applied for. And then in 2015, I was also nominated for 2 awards for the NMMA. That's the Nigerian Media Merit Award. One, I applied for 2 categories: newscasting and news and program presentation. I got nominated, but somehow I didn't get either of the 2 awards. But it was an experience for me that the fact that I was even nominated showed me that, okay, you could do it, you are doing good, because it's something that different media houses, apply for. Then I tried my hand again in 2018. That was for the Nigeria Academy of Science Award, that's NAS Award. I also applied for TV documentary with my reports that I have done, on some issues that were underreported. That one I did a report on resource disease and how it affects women and the level of ignorance in Nigeria. And luckily for me, I got that award 2018. I was the winner of the Nigeria Academy of Science Award for 2018. Then in 2020, there was COVID, so I didn't apply. I think that award was even deferred. Then in 2021, I tried my hand again, and I got nominated for that award. But I was the first runner-up again, this time for NASA Award. So I didn't get the winning position, but I also got prize for being the first runner-up. So these are some of the awards I have, gotten on the job.
You are a face of TV, okay, and usually when you have that kind of exposure, definitely you would naturally not see yourself on the street like every other person. There are bound to be some stares, some thoughts, that kind of situation. So how do you cope, being in public as a media personality?
Seriously, sometimes when I'm on the road, I forget. I don't remember that I'm a media personality. I move around like every other person. I do my thing. I forget until people now say, is that not NKOLI? No, she's the one. And, I've seen in some places, some are doubting, because of maybe the kind of place they are seeing me. They're like, could she be the one? No. I'll just watch them making arguments, and I'll just slip away. I'll go away, I'll just say something like, no, she's the one. They don't want to say, no, she's not the one, So that argument comes in. But for some that are very sure, that have followed me, they'll tell me, no, you are the one. Madam NKOLI, I've been following you. Oh, you're not in Abuja. I've followed you from Lagos. In fact, I went to Karo Market 2 days ago. And I was shocked. I was just moving my own, looking for things to buy for my children to go back to school. And someone I said, that's NKOLI OMHOUDU now. Are you not? Yes, now. You work in AIT, right? I just nodded, and I was looking. Before I knew it, the crowd was already gathering to say, okay, she's the one or she's not the one. They were wondering what I was doing in Karu market, walking about like every other normal person. I'm like, I don't need to be sending people out to go and do things for me, things that I naturally can do as a woman. So sometimes when I'm in public, I don't even remember that I'm a media personality until people start, trying to find out whether she's really the one or not. But so it's normal for me. There's nothing. It's not a big deal being on TV. You just do what you are cut out to do, and people appreciate it. That's it for me. So it's really not.
Okay, I get that leads to this other question now, because definitely you do have fans out there, people that actually appreciate what you do and look forward to seeing you in so many ways. Okay, so what really would be your message to your fans out there?
Well, nobody knows it all. Some of them appreciate you because they feel you're good. Some think there are some things you need to, improve on. So I appreciate everyone, and I also am open to constructive criticism. If there's anything you feel you should do better as a fan, or you tell me, in a loving way that, I think you should be this or be that, I will very, very accept it. I'm open to corrections. I'm open because even though it's a passion, but nobody knows it all. So I appreciate my fans, those who have followed me, who love what I do, and I promise not to fail them. I will keep upgrading and improving myself to bring the best to them each time I'm on air.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, that was great. Okay. Please talk to us about environmental production. Sure.
Now, if you've watched my promo, what I used to say.
Sorry, has it always been that title, or
yes.
It got okay?
Yes, okay. That it has always been like that. Environment today. So, if you listen to me, either my sign out slogan or my intro slogan, I usually say, "Environment is life. So let's preserve it." And that is because environment and health are like Siamese twins. You cannot really separate one from the other. So they used to say health is wealth. Environment, to me, is life. Now, environment is all encompassing. You can talk about the air, the water, the land. Everything is environment. And that is why if you are in a filthy environment, or you are in a polluted environment and you cannot get clean air, or you are in an environment where all the flora and fauna is gone, that has been deforested like we do here because of development, you will see that you are prone to diseases. Because everything that God created as nature that should protect man on their own have started destroying them in the name of development. And that is why today it's a global issue, what is called climate change. Because we have destroyed the world and the creation of God so much, we have so degraded them that apart from the one that nature itself is causing, the man-made activities, have also contributed to the changing climate and the devastating impact on everything, on agriculture, on human health, on education, on just name it, every sector of the economy. So that is why it's important for us to keep creating this awareness on the things that people do that cause this degradation in the environment, and see how we can, allow nature to regenerate itself, and if the preaching now is, if you cut one tree, please try and plant another.
Okay, sorry, in one single sentence, just tell us what the program is.
Okay, the program is a program where we x-ray environmental and public health issues which concern human every day, and we also seek experts' views on how to address them.
Okay, great. So who are your target audience?
I target everybody. Like I said, environment is life. So if environment is life, it means that if you are living, if you're breathing, that the program is for you.
Okay, take us back. When was its Maiden Edition?
Its Maiden Edition was launched in 2007, and after about 2 years, then we got sponsorship from the Lagos Ministry of Environment, and it was at the Lagos local belt at the time. You know how high airfare is. So, but trust government. Now, when government changed hand, the next government in Lagos State didn't continue with the sponsorship, so the program was rested after about 3 years, you know. So, but we had to rejig it and revive it, you know. That was like in 2018. Then that was when we pushed for it to get to the national network belt, so that we can get a larger audience and probably get other people to come into the program, apart from the Lagos Environment Ministry. So since then, the program has been on air, it's been up and running.
Okay, it's an in-house program, isn't it?
Yes, it is an in-house program, but we are also open for advertisement and sponsorship, because the airtime, the airtime is to keep the program running on air, to give it life and breath.
Okay, so what would you want to say? Who actually conceptualized the program?
I did.
Okay.
And why did I do that? Because when I joined the reportorial corps in Dark Communications, the head of news at the time, during the sharing of beats, for reporters to cover, just somehow I didn't read environmental science. I read mass communication, pure mass communication, but when I was drafted to cover the environment beat, naturally, with years of reporting the beats at the global, local, national level, attending conferences on global treaty, I developed interest in the sector and started developing myself along that line, reading, literature on environmental issues, talking to experts, on a regular basis. And from there, from reporting environment, I went on to develop a program along that line, just to have a larger, space to talk about these issues and how they can be addressed.
Okay, and you want to talk to us about the production situations, and this time you have to, come forth with an episode. So, what does it usually look like? What is it like to you having to produce an episode of the program?
It's not easy, particularly with paucity of fund. You know how it is now. You're a producer yourself, so I'm sure you know what it means to produce a 30-minute program every week. You're sourcing for content, going out for gathering material, because the program is segmented. You've got a news segment that covers the local and international news of the moment. Then you've got a mini documentary segment where you talk about the topic for the day, any environmental topic you choose for the day. Then you look at other interview segments where you interview personalities on different issues on how they can be addressed, particularly environmental issues and public health issues. And then, going out, mobility, getting materials, and you know how it is when you work with people, you have a team that you work with. This is our job, is a teamwork. You've got a cameraman, you've got an editor, you've got people, also reporters that help you write 1 or 2 stories. We have, because of the passion we have to educate people and to get people to understand some of the environmental the practices that are harmful to the environment. Okay. And now with the issue of circular economy, which is the in thing now, that nothing is waste until it is wasted, that every waste can actually be converted to useful material and be used to produce something, recycling, to create circular economy. That's where we are now in environmental matters, and it's such an interesting issue. It's difficult to attract advertisement, on the program, because people see is a kind of professional issue. People see the environment as a dry issue, that it's not entertainment that people flood adverts on, but it is something that concerns everybody, and I think it is something that should even attract more adverts, and that's what we're pushing for now, that we should take it as our life. And if it is our life, then every sector of the economy can actually advertise on that program. And now, environment is a global issue. It's no longer, a national issue, because they say environmental disasters do not have boundary. They don't respect boundary. You'll be shocked that what happens in UK may start having effect here, and that's exactly what climate change is doing, because we're not the greatest polluter of of the environment, even though we're a fossil fuel driven economy. But then there are people who have developed more than us that creates all the damage in the environment. But here we're feeling the impact. You understand? So that's where we are now, trying to get people.
As a program, fetched you any awards so far since inception?
Not the program per se, but the reports I have done within the program.
Within the program.
Yes. So I have not used the entire program to apply for any award. But what I have done is to use the stories, the special reports I have done within the program to apply for awards. So I can also say it is a program that I like, because the kind of stories I do that get me award, it's not like a 2-minute report. It's a kind of report that takes care of all we won't find any loophole, because all angles are covered, and sometimes it stretches beyond 5 minutes, sometimes 7. In fact, the documentary that got me the NAS award is like 15 minutes. So that's not what you find space for news on a news belt. So I can confidently say it is the program that has attracted those awards.
Okay. What is the schedule of the program? On your station?
It's 4:30 p.m. every Wednesday.
Okay. You have a repeat schedule?
Once in a week. Not a scheduled repeat, but I've seen the program repeated by programs officers. Maybe some days where maybe one program kind of fails, so they just use it to fill up the airtime.
Okay, still talking about the program. Is there something you want to target audience to know about the program that you probably not said anything about so far?
I want the people to key into environmental issues. It's a must watch, because there we also have a segment that is called the feedback segment, and that is where we get people to talk about their environment. We may not be everywhere at every time, but there are people who live within those environments that feel there's no government presence, the environment is so degraded that people are dying of diseases and all that. So if you get in touch with us, we'll always have our social media platforms we have a YouTube page, and we can always get the agencies concerned or the ministry that should handle your case, like the noise pollution. That I've got a couple of messages from Lagos, from a particular street, about one church that keeps disturbing their life. That in fact all of them are having hearing problem now because of noise pollution. So what I do when I get such messages, I get across to the agencies that are in charge and say, please, people are dying, do something, and we have brought societal changes through that.
Okay, I really want to thank you for your time. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for that.